All right, welcome to the Unstoppable Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Ron Woods. Today we got my boy Victor on. Hey, I just want to bring you on here, man. I liked your story. And the story is this dude he used to be a bad boy. What you gonna do? And he turned into a good boy. We got, was gang affiliated. Now he's millionaire. And he's got an awesome story. Real estate investor, wholesaler, flipper. I don't know. You might have some Airbnbs. He's got a meetup, teaching people stuff. Yeah, without further ado, this is Vic.
Hey, thank you, Ron. I appreciate you having me on. But hey, yeah, just kind of going back to that. Yeah, we do have a meetup. We do it once a month, like the first Wednesday of the month out here in the high desert. We try to give as much value as possible. I go to so many other meetups in so many areas, and at the end of the day, most of the meetups, all they do is talk about themselves. So, we actually try to give value. So today we'll have somebody on at an actual rehab property, and I'm going to interview him, and kind of give a bit more value than just talking about myself.
Do you have anything online people could see that if they don't go in person or not yet?
Not yet. I mean, you can follow me on Instagram, any social media platform, but I mean, we post content all the time. Sometimes about the meetup, sometimes about our flips, our wholesale deals, testimonials, everything you can think of. I also do like inspirational type of stuff too, here and there, because my goal is to inspire others, really.
And this is what I think this podcast is going to do, man. I just want to get right into it, bro. So you were gang affiliated to Millionaire, bro. Tell me, like, how did you get involved in that? And what were kind of like the big things that like you got out and wanted to do business? How'd that work?
So for me, yeah, it was a long road. I grew up in the streets of South Central LA. Um, as you can see, I'm light skinned. I am Hispanic, but I look white. So most people, growing up where I grew up, right in South LA, all you saw was black and Hispanics. That was it. So, during that time, I went through a lot, been through the 92 riots. So much going on in the streets of LA. People that know about it or live there, you would know. But the gangs in the 90s, it was like a war zone. So I grew up pretty much not in other words, not getting the love that we all feel that we should be getting from our family, right? I think at the end of the day, most of us, if we don't find love at home from our parents, which
Hmm.
my parents were never bad, it's just they were always working. So as children, we always try to find that love somewhere else. Where I go, I reached out to the homies, right? Um, so in essence, like a lot of things happened to me, traumatic events when I was a kid. So I think it led me down that path towards that life to kind of protect myself, and I created a new version of myself, if that makes sense, where yeah, I started going pretty much up the ranks, building myself up in the gangs in the streets. I wasn't the best person, you know what I mean, back then. But I always care for people, but it's just I know at that point it was survival and I had to do what I had to do.
Well, so you talk about like you felt like you had some kind of a family and you were doing stuff. Okay, so where when you were in there, did I feel like I don't know too much about the gangs, but I think they operate on some kind of business. Did you learn business stuff that you use today from the gang stuff?
Well, realistically, yeah, I mean, the only business I would say you really learn is selling drugs, really, right? I did do a lot of stupid things that I shouldn't have done, but at the end of the day, it made me who I am now. It made me a better person. So yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I did do some stealing and sell drugs and stuff like that. Was it the best thing? No, but at the moment, I didn't know any better. I figured that was the only life for me, right? Because I didn't see past a certain level, right? It's like for a lot of people that grow up in the hood, no matter if it's LA or New York, wherever it is, some people don't see past a certain level. Why? Because nobody in their family's ever done it, right? Or they just, society tries to keep you locked in that area or in that mindset. So yeah, I mean, I was in and out of jail, in and out of juvenile halls as a kid, then in and out of the county jails. I never went straight to prison, but I got to say I was in juvenile hall at least about 10 times, and the county's jails, like almost every jail around California, at least about 10 times as well. So I was in and out, I was a knucklehead. Got to the point where I was, like I said, I was going up in the ranks in the gang. I got to the point where I was actually doing meetings and all that stuff, which was, not not very good, not very cool, but
Meetings, you said?
like in a sense, like running the show.
So you were almost like a boss. You were higher up in the ranks. So you had people underneath you, and you had like
Yes, yes. I can't say I was a boss, but yes, I was a yes, higher up in the ranks, pretty much. Had a lot of connections. Um, so I got to the point where I started seeing what I was doing, right? I started seeing that my kids, I would look at my kids and I would say, is this the example I want to be for them? Right. So that I feel like at that point, that's when I started shifting because it was too long, too much going on. I got shot multiple times, actually shot at so
what?
many times. I got shot at so many times, I can't even count. I don't even remember how many, but I got hit twice on both of my legs. So but yeah, like I gotta say everything people see in the movies, I mean, it's nothing like real life, right?
Wow, dude. So you got shot, and then you had kids, and that was the changing point for you saying, "I'm done with gang life. I need something different," or was there
Well,
something else?
Well, truthfully, I think I was still a bit immature because I had my son. After I had my son, yeah, I had gotten shot once. Then I got shot later on after I had my other kids. I was in and out of jail. Still, when I had my kids, right? Then, me and my wife went through a certain situation where we kind of separated. We got back together a few years later, and I feel that's when everything started really shifting because I was in LA, she was here in the high desert, and well. And for me, once again, I went back and I kept reflecting, like, what am I doing here? I got to a point, and yeah, like I said, I was in a higher rank in the hood, and to a point where I was calling shots. Not the main shot caller, but calling shots. And then I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, is this where my life's gonna continue to go? So at that point, I remember I just reached out to her and we talked about it. We said, hey, well, okay, we'll figure it out, but you got to move up here. That's when I was like, oh shoot, I didn't want to leave LA at that point, But then I know it. I'm glad I did. It was the best thing I ever did.
Wow, dude. That's crazy, man. That's an awesome story. But like, okay, so can you just get out of gangs? I hear stories. I don't know nothing about it, dude. Like I really don't. So can you just be like, hey, here's my 2 week notice. I'm gonna go do real estate. And they're like, oh yeah, no problem. Or was it like some problems? Or do you
I
have to
gotta say,
pay?
I gotta say, no, you can't just leave. But how can I say this? I did so many stupid shit. If that makes sorry if I cuss, but I did so many things. I guess you could say bad things that they pretty much couldn't mess with me in that sense. So
You were kind of
I
feared.
just said, hey, yeah. Well, I did so many things in the streets in the gangs that I mean I'm not proud of. Like I said, that got me up in the ranks too. I got to the point where it's like you can't tell me anything. You know. So even people that try to question me leaving, they really didn't even question. I was just like, dude, go ask about me, right? But that was it. But that was not at that point. It was prideful, right? But then that's when I let go of that. I was like, no, there's nothing to be prideful about, because I wasn't happy of like things that I had to do to come up and survive at that point. But I knew there was something. I always thought there was something better for me. I knew it was always something bigger and better. I just didn't know what it was.
I look at it sometimes, man, when I see people like if you are able to, I wonder about it. If you're able to do, even though you're doing something bad, let's talk about like the mafia or gangs or something like that, and they're
Yeah.
moving up in the ranks and they're doing good, and they're like, a lot of entrepreneurship I see in that organization. Like those people are just headed the wrong direction to the wrong things. If you redirect some of that stuff, like this mafia dude I think at one of the conferences there was a guy who used to be the head of the mafia
Oh yeah, I remember that
who,
one.
yeah, now he's can turn it into a bit Rafael Vargas. I don't know if you know who Rafael Vargas is,
Yeah, yeah,
but
I
he
know
used to
him.
be, yeah, gang affiliated,
Out of
and
Florida.
he learned that to turn business, and boom, using the same tactics but doing good stuff with it. So like, I'm always wondering about that. So
Yeah, I mean,
so
I guess you do. You do learn a bit, and I think also too for me, I think the benefit of that was that I get the best of both worlds because coming from the streets, I go into business and I learned the business side of things. Now it's like it really comes down to I'm gonna say uneffable, right? Like they can't mess with me because somebody in business, you can't break me down. And somebody from the streets is like it's the best of both worlds. Whereas when you come into business and and I'm not talking down on anybody that never came from the streets, but I'm just saying like if you're just business, it's not the same, right? Like people can try to take advantage of you at times, and it all depends on the person, right? Um, but for me, I think being from both worlds, it really elevated my skill, I guess you could say.
Okay, awesome, man. So like, so what's now? Not you're successful. You decided to do real estate, and it's been working for you. Obviously, it's been working good for you. You said you're a millionaire. Like, what? So, what's the most amount of money you've made in like a year?
So I gotta say the most amount of money we made in a year has been about 1 million. It actually has been 1 million, but I'm like I said, I like to be fully transparent. I don't like to lie and everything. So me and my wife together from both sides of our business, it's all real estate. But yeah, we made 1 million. We've only made 1 million 1 year so far, but the goal is to make 1 million plus every year, consistently. So as far as getting to the point, like you mentioned, of being a millionaire, that's based also on our properties, the equities, and everything we have and own.
Awesome, man. And what? And your business is primarily flipping or wholesaling or what?
It was so I was. This is the funny thing. So back when I started, I believe it was like towards like 2018. Got my first wholesale deal. I actually picked up a property. I don't know if you know where San Bernardino is. The city of
Yeah.
San
Oh, yeah.
Bernardino. I picked up a property for $14,000 because the property was it was a fire damaged property. The garage had burned down. The house was needed a full gut, full rehab, and they had already gotten the insurance money. So back then when I learned is like negotiate to the try to get it as low as possible, right? At the end of the day, we still want to get it as low as possible while helping them, right? But yeah, I got it at 14,000. I assigned it, if I remember correctly, at about I think it was 80 or 85. So on my first wholesale deal, I made 53,400, I think it was. So that was pretty cool. So that's when I started, and then that's when I mentioned to you I got interviewed by Kong for that deal, which is pretty cool for the first deal.
That
So
is
that's
your
when
first deal, 53K.
yeah, so that's when I noticed that I had something going, right? I felt that I had negotiation skills, right? Because well, the funny part about that one is that the sorry, the camera keeps moving. Um, Funny thing about that is that I put the deal on Facebook Marketplace. I got a buyer within a day, and the buyer was like right away. He's like, "Yeah, dude, let's lock it up. Let's do it. Let's go." Right. So I think at that point it was a little bit lower. I think it was at like 75 or 75 or 80. I can't remember. I got to do the calculations, but um, so long story short, he was supposed to close it in 2 weeks. He wasn't performing in 2 weeks due to he had excuses saying that his partner was out of town. And I told him, look, dude, right now you're already out of contract, so I can literally cancel. I had buyers lined up. I literally had
Yeah.
like 3 other buyers waiting. So I told him at this point I can literally cancel on you and move on.
Yeah.
And he told me like, oh, you can't cancel. I was like, dude, yes, I can. I have the proof right here. I have the contract right here. So he said, well, what's it gonna take? I told him, look, if you go up $5,000, then we'll keep it. I'll give you an extra week and we'll
You
close
had
it
to
out.
pay. You had to pay you an extra 5K.
And he
And
took
he said,
it.
yeah. But
He
you could have
took
sold it
it.
for more to the other people, or no, they were at the same price.
They were about the same price that he was with those extra
Oh,
5K.
okay. So
So
you just made an extra on it.
yeah, I told him do it. Just be you could do 5K. I'll give you an extra week, but you gotta close. If not, I'm gonna cancel and move on. He knew it was a great deal. Like I said, that was my first wholesale deal. I know it was a great deal, but I didn't know how great it was. He knew that it was a much better deal. And so that's why he said right away, he said, yeah, I'll give you the 5,000. So that was pretty cool. But I learned that I had some negotiation skills back then. Got him to come up on price.
So this is the business that I'm into. I'm a real estate investor. I flip and I wholesale. Most of my business I do is wholesale. I'm gonna have Vic explain like what wholesale real estate is in his words, but I
Yeah.
do have a free community on Facebook that I teach this. If you want to learn more about making more money, flipping houses without using your own money, call wholesale real estate. Links in the bio. But Victor, man, let me ask you, what's your how do you explain to new people what wholesaling is?
Wholesaling real estate, pretty much to me at least, is pretty much just getting in contact with a seller, or whether it's with a seller or a realtor, um, negotiating a price on a property, getting that property under contract, and then reassigning the rights to that contract to an end buyer who's probably looking to pay cash, might be a flipper, a buy and hold buyer. But I think just to simplify it is like you negotiate a price with the homeowner or with the realtor that has the property on the market and get it on the contract, and you reassign the rights to that contract to the end buyer.
Yep, exactly right. And most of the time, not always, let's say vast majority of the time, there's something wrong with the house. There's
Yeah,
something wrong with the seller, or the house needs repair or fire. Like he said, it was a fire. So this house needs a ton of work most of the time. And the people don't want to do the money, have the money to fix it, or don't want to do it. And you're finding these houses for flippers, and the flippers can pay you. I mean, this is why I think wholesale house is one of the best businesses I've ever known, because you get paid very quickly off of these. I mean, how much time you're a 53K deal? How much time did it take for you to make that 53? Did it take you a
that one
year?
that one took about 2.5 weeks.
And how many hours of your time would you
I'm
say?
gonna say realistically on that one, hours of my time, just because I had to run back and forth to get a notary and help them out because they were older. Maybe like 5 hours.
So I'm not a mathematician, but I think he made $10,000 an hour on that deal.
Yeah, like you mentioned, right, in wholesaling, the beauty of it is that in the process of you assigning that rights to that contract, you can make a profit of 5, 10, 15, 20, 100,000, 200,000, a million. There's really no limit to what you can make depending on the deal that you acquire.
So good, man. So in your entrepreneur career, like how long have you been entrepreneur in total?
I've got to say a bit about 5 years, a bit over 5 years. No, yeah, like 6 years.
Okay, and
I
we're
started
seeing
part time.
you started part-time.
Yeah, well, back to even actually, I just quit my full time job 3 years ago. So I was doing it part time for a couple of years when it got to the point where okay, so I started when I got my first wholesale deal. After that, every deal I started getting, I started flipping because me and my wife had already done a flip before that wholesale deal, and we decided to flip. So I was getting like deeply discounted deals, great price, and I was just flipping everything that came by. So, dude, it was pretty awesome because I was just flipping everything, and then once the market shifted a couple of years ago, that's when I kind of pivoted back to wholesaling.
Where were you? How were you finding these good deals?
So for me, direct to seller, direct to seller. So I would do marketing, pull a list, um, multiple lists, and I would literally cold call for hours. Um, I would send mailers too. Send so mailers, cold calling. Pretty much that was the source. And since my wife's a realtor, she's been a realtor for over 20 years, and she has a broker license as well. But when she gets certain leads that want to sell quick, she just sends them over.
Oh, that's good, man. So, in your 5 years of being an entrepreneur, what was the lowest point in your entrepreneurial career?
Truthfully, I would say for me, I've got to say it was a couple of years ago when the market shifted. Because when I first started, well, yeah, you start low, right? And you're learning and you're growing, but it's fun because you're growing and you're learning. But at that point, I was hitting probably 100,000 plus per deal, whether it was a flip or a wholesale deal. So it was great, right? I mean, I think it was for everybody. But when the market shifted, yeah, everything turned around and we had multiple projects going. So some of those projects we ended up pretty much not. I can't say necessarily losing. I mean, we did lose because say the projection was at one point, say for one property was like 50 grand. I ended up only making 8,000. Another property was probably like 40,000. Pretty much didn't make anything. And now I caught myself on some of these deals having to pay back some of these private money lenders. Had to extend the time frame to pay them back. So I think that was really my lowest, but I gotta say everything's a lesson, right? So at the end of the day, it's something that I needed to learn. So I know for if it ever happens again, I'm ready, no matter what. But I think that was probably one of my lowest points. Um, Actually, no, I have another one.
Ah, we getting deeper. Let's go.
Actually, about a year ago, yeah, about a year ago, like I literally got so depleted because the business was going okay, was going good, but then I got so depleted because my staff wasn't performing. My virtual assistants were performing to my standards. The staff I had in house was not performing to standards, so I was catching myself losing my time because I was having to manage projects, having to manage them and train them at the same time. So it was taking time away from me from doing what I do best, right? And for me, I believe what I do best is getting in front of those sellers and closing the deals. So
Mm.
by the time I'm teaching them and I'm here and there, it's kind of taking me away from that. So I was getting backed up on that, and I was getting depleted because I was paying and paying and paying, and they weren't performing. So I was still getting deals, but I was getting deals that were getting sent over by like realtors and stuff like that I would lock up myself. So then I
Yeah.
started reflecting, seeing like, hey, well, what's going on? I'm the one closing the deals, getting these deals, and my team's not. It's just I'm getting depleted. So pretty much hit in a sense rock bottom where I pretty much went kind of broke and I had to restructure. So I fired everybody and started from scratch. And I got to say, I had to do that a few times because I had lessons to learn as an entrepreneur. You know, coming from a 9 to 5 mentality for so many years, it took me some time to kind of get used to it. So yeah, I had to restructure. I'm going to say right now at least 2 3 times, and I
Yeah.
really just actually just fired my other VAs a couple months ago and had to restructure the business. But now it's going much better because I'm doing kind of like the your model, you know. So
Agents.
I appreciate your, you know, your community and everything because that also gave me a push down that path to hit it even more. So now
Mm.
I do have many agents sending me deals. I mean, obviously they don't all work, right? But it's been great because I don't have to. I feel like I'm wasting less on marketing, but I also
Yes.
have changed up my marketing avenues for that sense too, for that reason.
Yeah, he's talking about. So I used to, when I first started wholesaling, I was spending money. I've been doing it for, I'm gonna say 9 years. In the first 7 years, I've been spending money to get leads for marketing, right?
Yeah,
Sending letters, spending money to the tune of sometimes 10 to 20K a month, right? Um, and I just got it got to the point to where sometimes you would spend the money and you make a bunch of money and then you double it and you would make nothing. So it was just like this wave of you're in that spot where you want to get to like you want to start shooting for big numbers because the people around you are doing 300K quarters, $1 million quarters, 500,000. So you try to get up there with them, and they're like, you gotta spend the money. Well, I just met some people, the Boakleys, and
hmm
these people are not wholesalers whatsoever that I knew them. And they told me they had made $4 million using no money marketing. Now, I take it with a grain of salt, right? $4
yeah, yeah,
million. They can get money. They come from wealth. They can get money a lot cheaper than me, right? They can fail and daddy's got them. I don't. And it was when the market was doing this too. It was 2020, man. 2020, dude, they're amazing. It was awesome. But we did $4 million ourselves. Um, and half of it had nothing to do with how good we were. Just the market was just, it was almost a perfect storm. Very, very low interest rates. COVID was going on. A lot of people got out of the market, and the property values were doing this. So you could flip a house, mess up everything to where you would have
yeah.
made zero, and you still would make $25,000 on it.
That's so true. And I gotta say, for me too, that was probably one of the major years where we hit that million. But like I said, at the end of the day, it was just me and my wife doing it. So yeah, it was cool, right? Like we hit that million. But yeah, like you said, that was one of those markets where you didn't have to be so skilled or experienced, and you would have made some money. Now this market, yeah, you have to have the skill because if not, you're gonna get broken down.
So it's harder now for you, right? Is it harder for you now than it was?
Yeah, yeah, I gotta say that for sure. I think for anybody, right?
Dude,
Um,
I don't know many people. Well, the dudes at the top, like the top 1%, they're chilling, right? But But most people I know quite a few people out of business. And then there's the people who like, I'm never going out of you. You ain't never going out of business. It's just we have to work right now twice or three times as hard to make the same money we were before. And what I like about it is it's tough to do bit deals. It's tougher to do business and deals right now, right? It's tougher, dude. If you're making it right now, oh, when the market changes and it gets good, we're gonna tear it up because we've had to battle during these hard times. When it gets easy, oh, bro, gotta eat. So I can't wait. I appreciate like I of course like I've had to like lower my lifestyle down quite a
Hmm.
bit. You know, a lot of people I talk to like their lifestyle was doing this because you can always go flip a house for 50, 60, 50K and you'll be fine. A wholesale deal will be fine. But when the market changed, like with the crash app, I call it the crash. I'm
Yeah,
just straight
yeah.
labeling it. Dude, I will look at some month we're spending, babe, why are we spending $15,000 this month? What are we talking about? And I've had to literally change my lifestyle to where we're running on 6, 7K a month. And I want to get it lower. I want
Yeah.
to be able to do my whole operation under 10 businesses and everything. And it's making me be more disciplined. It's making me, I like you don't want to have, I don't know about you, but for me, I want to be able to like very easily afford my monthly bills and not be stressing and have plenty of, it used to be 6 months in the bank. I
Hmm.
like having a year of
Hmm.
living expenses chilling. And then I'll play with the rest. I'll play with the rest. When I say play, I ain't blowing it. We're talking about what moves can I make to make my business? What
Yeah.
other things can I add to make my business? You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I get
How do
it.
you think about that?
Yeah, no, no, I actually feel the same way about it. Yeah, it did get tougher along the ride, along the way. But yeah, like you said, the good thing is that a lot of the people that had just jumped into the business because everything was so easy, they fell off
Like, all
because
right.
they couldn't handle it, right? So at this point, is either you're gonna you're gonna just hold on for the ride and keep pushing forward and reap the benefits down the line, or you're gonna jump out just like everybody else. And one thing I know, I've always told myself, I'm not quitting, and I'm not going back to a 9 to 5. So it's like
Mm.
it's gonna happen no matter what. But it
Dude,
all comes down to the mindset.
in the coaching program, that I
Yeah.
just feel so bad. Like in the coaching program we were in when I met you,
Hmm.
um, there's a guy you might know who I'm talking about. Moved to Los Angeles to flip houses, and he got him his first deal. It was like $1 million. I think he bought it for like 800, was going to put like something in it. He would have made like millions. And then the market crashed, dude.
Damn.
And he got stuck. I haven't heard from him. Just eviscerated. And just like, golly, if you start out, listen, have somebody check your numbers, look over your stuff with you,
Hmm.
do a deal with somebody, JV with somebody, joint venture, partner up. Man, that tears my heart out. See this dude, young dude too,
Yeah.
screwed like ASAP. I guess you can default on it and all the other stuff, but like you don't want to do that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah. That's what I try to tell people now. I don't know if you notice now these days too. Everybody, and I don't want to put it out so much on them, but there's a lot of so-called gurus, right, out there putting it out there, telling them it's so easy to do this, do that. They're telling everybody to do wholesale, but it's not as simple as it seems, right? Everybody. So I get calls from brand new wholesalers about deals, calling me for deals, and these deals are like tight as heck, dude. Dude, for example, I just got a call on a deal. It was last week. The property's worth maybe 420 at the most rehab, and it needs a complete rehab. This dude was trying to sell it at 385.
And
And
what's
I
the
was like,
ARV?
dude, 420. He was selling it for 385.
Yeah,
And it's and the funny thing about it is that it was up here too. So I knew the seller. Like I didn't know that that was his property, but he was actually a buddy of mine who's an investor and a realtor as well. So when he sent me the number to go check, I told him, dude, just send me the information. I'll check out the property. Because in my mind, I was like, okay, maybe I can help him renegotiate this deal and
Mm,
make him maybe help split the profits or something.
yep.
So yeah, so when I was going to go view the property and he texted me the owner's number so I can touch bases with them. And I see the number. When I text the number, it was my buddy's number. I was like,
Wow.
oh, dude. But after I talked to my buddy and everything, and then I called the guy after the wholesale after I left, and I gave him some tips, and I told him, dude, like this, you want to maybe try to get it lower than that, and does need this much, probably about this much in rehab, and all this. So, dude, that's really tight. So I gave him some tips, and I told him, dude, if you need help, let me know. I'm always open to helping, but we'll have to split some profits.
That's good, dude. I know you're putting out content and you said people are hitting you up. Have you ever had people, and this is a good learning lesson for some new people that might be watching this too. Have you ever had people reach out to you, don't really, and they don't do it the right way. They don't introduce themselves and just kind of demands coaching from you or
Yeah, actually,
stuff from
recently,
you.
yeah.
You're like, what?
You know what? It's funny because I've actually been talking to my wife about this lately. I've been getting called and text so much, even on social media, people asking me so many questions about real estate, about wholesaling, flipping, creative financing. And some of these people are maybe from the meetups, but not just the meetups, but people on social media. And I'm like, dude, like I give you guys as many tips as possible sometimes on social media and on the meetup. Now, anything after that, I say, you know what, from now on, anything after this, like say this is the meetup, you got what you got there. From now on, hey, here, you know what? You want to know more, it's going to cost you. So now I'm at the point where, yeah, I just feel like I have to charge because everybody wants everything free, but then yet they don't do anything about it. They'll ask me all these questions, and then it's like a year later and they're still not doing anything.
Yeah,
That's when
yeah.
they're wasting your time and energy. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, so don't hit up somebody who is, someone who, if you're new and
Mhm.
someone's out there doing grinding, they're doing deals, they're making money, and you want to do the same thing, don't go in their DMs and just start asking for stuff and demand. Right? Some people have demanded you don't even introduce yourself. Maybe it's a different generation, but no, hey,
Yeah.
Mr. Victor, my name is this person, boom, boom, boom. They don't even say any of that. Just, hey, send me your contracts. And all you're just like, bro, who are you talking to, bro? So you need to have
Yeah.
level of respect. That person is spending all day being a business person, running their business.
Mhm.
For them to take the time out of their money making activities to help you is you can't you shouldn't ask you shouldn't ask like that. So what's a respectful way for someone that wants to get your attention? How should they reach out to where you don't want to backhand them or you just don't want to help them because they're quite frankly rude and they don't understand the game and how it works and the respect and the communication how it's supposed to go.
They don't. They really don't. But I think, like you said, just be humble about it. Introduce yourself and say, "Hey, my name is whatever your name is, John. Hey, I'm trying to learn about flipping. I'm in this community. Is there anything you can help me with, or are you open to mentorship? Just reach out to the person, like really asking them the questions. Obviously, I know I get annoyed when people start asking me so many questions. I'll answer one or two, and I'm like, all right, dude, now it's going to cost you. Here, let me send you a link or something. But
Here's my credit card, my Venmo.
right, but no, I think like you mentioned, there's a way of asking, like, hey, you know what, my name is this and this and that. I want to get into the wholesaling or flipping, whatever it is. I want to learn creative financing. Is there like a coaching program that you might have or a mentorship? Are you open to taking somebody on? Or hey, one thing I would tell people, like, hey, if you start and you have a deal, bring the deal my way and I'll help you and I'll guide you down the process and I'll help you get it locked up and closed and disposed. So if it's somebody like that, I think if you have a deal, contact somebody like Ron or me, like, hey, you know what? I got a deal. I don't know what to do now. I believe it's a deal. And then that's when we start asking the questions. Okay, have you got it under contract? No. Okay, where you at? Let me see how I can help you. Okay, but I let them know ahead of time. If I'm going to help you down this process, you're going to learn, but we're going to have to split the profits, right? So when somebody they have to bring you value. Let's just say that. If you're gonna ask somebody to help you out, you got to bring them some value too. It can't just be everything free because, especially if we give it for free, you guys go and turn around and not do anything with it. It's a waste.
This is game for y'all. He's exactly right. You want to lead whenever you talk to somebody that's above you or what you need, you always lead from value. And the sad thing is a lot of people, I have sympathy for y'all because we're not taught this stuff in school. You're always taught to like beg and get and get and get. And business, the world doesn't work like that. School did us a disservice. How the real world, the business world works is you pay your dues, you lead with value. If you want something from Victor, you want something from me, you want something from anybody else, what can I give to get? You might even want to just say, hey man, if I get a deal, I'll split it with you. I have some questions. Just even that is going to get you so much further than someone just saying, teach me this, teach me this, teach me this, teach me this, right?
Yeah, and I gotta say too, with that, you could even just like one thing I would do, say if I was to contact you, Ron, for example, I'm like, hey, Ron, you know what? I don't know this, but I was wondering if you could show me, hey, I'll work for free. I don't care. You need me to
Yeah.
make calls for you, you need me to run numbers for you. I
Yes.
just want to learn it. And then, I'm open to that because I have taken people on in that way.
Yep, me too.
Because they're
Those,
giving
those
value.
people, those people I hire, you can come on, dude. That's what you want to do. You really this is it. You really want to go and help Victor make money. And I mean, you could end up in a role where you're making a lot of money flipping houses just by just providing value and not looking for anything really, just trying to give. And what can I do to help you in your business? Or come with some skills. Hey, I'll chop up all your videos and I'll get out, I'll record you and I'll put out all these videos on social media. I'll post them, boom, 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 boom. Anybody can learn how to do that, right? Not saying that it's easy, but you can learn how to do it. Make phone calls. That's the hardest thing in this business is to do, is to reach out to people and say, what's up? I'd like to make an offer. Do that for free. Offer that. You do a good job, he's probably going to pay you anyway. You know what I mean? So much good stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I want to be respectful for your time. I just got a couple more questions, bro. So,
No, shoot, don't worry. I don't, like I said, I don't have another appointment till 4:30. We're good, dude.
cool, man. So what's the best financial advice you've ever received?
Ever received? You know what? I really got to think about that one. Financial advice ever received. Just one thing I would say is know where your money's going. In other words, when your money's coming in, have a place for it to go. What I mean by that is like already have it set. Like, okay, this is going to marketing. Have your system. This is going to marketing. This is going to profits. This is going to pay the employees. Because when you don't know even mentally where your money's going, then you could just lose it just like that. And I'm
Hmm.
speaking from experience because I know there was times where we get, I've closed wholesale deals at 60,000, 70,000, 50,000, and money starts flowing in. But if you don't have, in other words, like a path for that money, whether even if it's going to go to a savings account, whatever, then it can go pretty quick, as it came in.
That's good. We go to by the book Profit First,
Yeah,
where
me too. Me
I
too.
got 10K, I got 10K. I can tell you what ours is right now.
Pay
So
yourself
we
first.
we get it. Pay yourself first, right?
Yeah.
We get a $10,000 check. 30% goes to taxes. I got a partner, right? So we pay the acquisition person 20%. We pay the dispo person 10%.
Mhm.
So far, boom. And then we have a profit account of 5% that goes to us. And then we pay the partners. We split what's left.
Okay.
So you have a healthy business and you have, I think you build up like a 6 month to a year bank account to where like if business stopped today, we can operate for 6 months without worrying about bills in case some. worst case scenario. It would never happen. But hey, I know if we didn't make any more money, I got 6 months to make some money without stressing out
Yeah.
about paying employees and bills and all that stuff, which makes it pretty difficult to go out of business. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and I've been there, so I know.
You said you started your business over 2 times. I think this is 4.0 for me. This might be 4 or 5.0
Okay.
iterations of business. And um for me, one of the worst lessons, what was one of the hardest lessons you learned in business? I'm gonna do mine first. So mine is I fired the wrong person too easily early on in my career because my expectations
Mhm.
were a little too high. And so I had an acquisition rep who was really talented, but they started doing some unethical stuff.
Oh, okay.
Not crazy, but at the time they weren't producing and they did this. So I just fired. What they were doing was we would close on that. We would do a wholesale deal and we'd be closing on a property. What this person would do would call the seller and offer money to move their belongings and clean up and all this other stuff without telling me. So
Mhm.
it made it seem like it made our company look kind of weird, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so I just cut because they weren't performing lead wise, but that was my fault. It was my fault because
At
they
the
were
end of the
working.
day, it falls back on us.
Yeah, I should have fired myself. I gotta look at myself. But I had to go in and do everything. I was the AQ rep all over again. Well, I hired someone really quick afterwards. And it just slowed my business down so much. And it's really hard to find good salespeople. I thought it would be really easy to find good salespeople. No, brother. It's the hardest.
Yeah.
And so it slowed my business down. Now, in that same situation, if I have a dude that's really good, I'm not losing that person that easily. I want to
Mhm.
talk to him, pull him aside. Hey, you can't be doing this. Or we boom, 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 and let's figure out something out, right? And then hire someone underneath it. If that person had to go, I'm
Mhm.
gonna hire someone he's gonna be
First.
training somebody, and they're gonna be
Yeah.
fully trained, and then we're gonna part ways.
Yeah.
That's how I roll with it now.
I think that too, with me, I had to reflect on that too, because I let go of my people too, because they weren't meeting my standards. But at the same time too, like you said, then I had to go back. I had
You're
to
doing
get there
everything.
everything myself, right? But I did start questioning this last time around. Before I did let everybody go this last time around, I questioned myself. The first thing I did was like, okay, what's going on? How come the deals aren't coming in? Is it me? Okay, if it's me, what am I doing wrong? What should I be doing? How can I address this? And then I pinpointed, okay, or is it the team? That team's just really just not performing, and no matter what, because I was even training them up, and I would, like I said, I was getting deals, but these deals were side deals that weren't coming from this market,
Your
this
own marketing
marketing,
you're paying for.
yeah, that I was paying for. So I got to the point that I told him, look, man, it's just not working out. You guys aren't performing, and I'm getting depleted here. Well, same thing once again, and but once I reflect, going back to me, it's like, okay, now starting over, I'm starting with me. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Like I said, what was I doing wrong? What was I not doing that I should have been doing? So yeah, like you mentioned, I took it upon myself, but I also noticed that the team wasn't performing either, but I was still somehow kind of holding on to him a bit. Like, no, a deal's gonna come in from that, and it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, dude, no, you guys are gonna make me go straight broke just paying you, and nothing's coming in.
Mm-hmm. And last question, man, what's the greatest lesson about entrepreneurship that you would pass on to someone about to start their first business in today's world?
To start their first business, it's pretty tough. I think it's pretty tough starting a business in general for most people. I would say, if possible, first of all, do your research. Research everything possible. Look at programs, grants that might help you with your business to start off any business. Because I've learned a lot about this now, that you can get grants for almost anything. They're just being a minority, being a female minority, being a female Hispanic or male Hispanic or black. You know what I mean? Like black male or black female. Like there's grants that help your business, right? There's things like that. But also, if you can, look for a mentor, because you want to look for a mentor, somebody that can guide you, somebody that's doing what you want to do at a high level, and that's how you can start learning out from them. And once again, if you're able to reach out to that type of person, if they're reachable, right, and say like, hey, you know what, I really want, this is what I want to do. I was hoping maybe I can work with you for free, whatever you have to do. I think at that point, to get to where you want to get to in your business, as far as, hey, if you got to give up your time, do what you have to do. But I would say, like, look for a mentor, because
So
you can just, huh?
So you believe in paying for mentors?
Oh yes. At one point, I was paying about 40,000 a year for I was in the mentorship in the program that we were in,
Yeah.
and then I was in another program with my life coach, like in general, like just business as well. Okay, so ours was mostly real estate.
Yeah.
The other one was all life in general. It was business, how to build up your business, whatever business it is, whether for, let's say, a wholesaling business, whatever, build it up to be able to sell it, and you could just walk away from it. So it would teach you like the layers, the levels of just building it up, and not just that, spiritually. So I went down my healing path, my healing journey in life, and I became a better version of myself just going down that path. So yeah,
So
at
you
one point I
believe
was thinking about, huh?
So you believe in personal development?
Oh yes, 100%, hands down. Like I would, if I would have done that since the get-go, I would have been way past where I'm at right now. Because in the
Dude, were
beginning,
you were
oh,
you
go
about
ahead.
to say you were suicidal? Was that what you were
No,
about to
no,
say?
no, no, no,
Oh, I
no,
was
no.
like, dang.
No, never. I was never suicidal. I think when I first started, I was just YouTube University, truthfully, but I knew that I was going to figure it out, and I wasn't going to be stopped. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. I was hitting YouTube probably like 5 to 10 hours a day, trying to just learn things and figure them out. Once I got to the point where I started learning it, I'm like, okay, now let me start trying to make these calls, right? I started making the calls, and now I made a little bit of money, and now I was able to get into like a quick mentorship, like with Kong. I think I got a package with him. I think it was like $700. Cold
That's
calls with him live.
nothing.
Yeah, it was just like live cold calls with sellers, his contracts, his what was it? Scripts, stuff like that, right? So that's what got me going. And then after that, once I closed on the other deal, then that's when I started signing up to mentorship.
Oh, you're not talking about Daniel Kong. You're
No, no,
talking
no, no,
about
no, 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 no. King
come
Kong.
get this money,
Yeah, yeah,
man.
that one. No, yeah, not Daniel, dude.
I was like, Daniel Kong doesn't,
No, no,
he's
I'm
like
talking
a
about
builder.
Kong Lee, King Kong. Come, let's go make that money.
Got you. All right.
Yeah, and I actually signed up with him for a 1 day. I think it was a 1 day. I believe it was for like 4 hours. And he was like, dude, you ask me anything you want. I'll help you structure your business so you can start making money. So I think that day I paid like 2,500. And then after
For
that, yeah,
one-on-one?
yeah, for one-on-one. He got one-on-one with like 5 people on a Zoom call, just 5 people, like, and he went one person, but at a time.
Oh,
Like,
so
okay,
like a group, but
yeah,
just
but he addressed everybody individually. He started like, hey, okay, what is it that you're looking for? What is it that you need? What can I help you with in your business? How can I help you grow? And then once that person was done, okay, cool, on to the next person.
dude, that's good because group it's good like that because other people might ask some stuff that you weren't even thinking about. And you're like, oh,
Exactly.
that's gonna help me
Exactly. That's
out.
what I
Boom.
loved about it. Yeah, and then I was in the other mentorship. Actually, my life coach, his name's Danny Morel. So I used to my wife. He used to run a brokerage, a real estate brokerage out here in Southern California, and he was also a coach. He had events that he would throw and everything. That's when I started. I gotta say I give him credit because he helped shift my mindset. Dude, like when my mindset was still a little bit off, like kind of still in the streets. I remember I went to one of his events. Oh, this thing looks crappy. One of his events one day, It was called Relentless. And he had that day, I think he had like Tim Grover on, and I think it was Gary Vee. But anyways, they were cool and all. But for some reason, when I saw him speaking on stage, Danny, it just clicked because I saw a dude kind of like me. He was, well, he's Hispanic,
Yeah.
and this dude's a millionaire. I'm like, this dude's a
Mhm.
millionaire. He's Hispanic. He came up from the streets because he grew up in New York and then moved to Rialto, which in the ghetto side of Rialto. And so that's when I started looking at him and I saw him like, damn, if this dude can do it, I can do it too. That's how it was. And dude, from there on, it just my mindset shifted. And I started like following his events and everything. And then I got into his coaching program, his mentorship, and it just took me to a whole nother level. Then we went down the path because he's now more spiritual. And he, down pretty much finding yourself. So, went down that path and for me, I became a better version of myself doing and I'm just like I said, I like to be 100%. I've gone down the path of doing like ayahuasca and breath work and
Mushrooms.
meditation and mushrooms too, a mushroom ceremony. Not in a ceremony state, not the way that everybody does it, like, hey dude, let's just party here, let's take mushrooms. No, it's in a ceremony and with an intention, and it literally takes you where you need to go. So it takes you pretty much within yourself to heal your past traumas and limiting beliefs.
Wow, dude. So you say
So yeah,
you
that was
say
one of the most
like,
important things in my business. I think that changed my whole life,
wow.
just life and business in general.
Okay. Now you said something that made me want to think about something that I hear people say. Oh,
Mhm.
you were like, I spent hours on YouTube University for free. So, dude, so why should somebody pay for mentorship and coaching? You were doing YouTube, all that stuff's free. Why would you pay for a mentorship?
Because I feel that's the old way of doing things back then. I mean, I really didn't have the funds to make it happen, but when you pay for mentorship, it's just gonna get you there so much faster. Like you could do YouTube University, but like I said, I was there hours after hours. I mean, I didn't get my first, well, luckily, I can't say luckily, I don't believe in luck, but I got my first deal maybe 4 months in. Some people take 6 months, some people take a year, some people get it in a couple of days, right? But if you have that mentorship, that coach is going to help you get there so much faster.
Agreed, man. Agreed. That's the thing about like when people are like, hey, man, I can just do this. I don't, you're stupid. It's a scam to pay for mentors and coaches. And I caught my brother saying that. He's like, why would you pay $2,000 for someone to show you how to operate a business? I said, did you hear what you just said? If I paid $2,000, how much I'm gonna make from that? I've paid like you, 40K. I think the most I've paid is multiple 20, 25K coaching
Mhm.
programs. Always have made so much money because of so not only are you getting that coach, so you can ask questions, the community, man, the
Yes.
people in it, the
Yeah.
networking, the deals you
Yeah.
do with them, and YouTube's all over the place, man. You're hearing a million voices saying different stuff. It's similar, but it's a different path. Like I got people that come to me because I coach, and they're like, "Hey, this dude said he buys leads over here, and he uses this CRM, and he sends leads here. But this person says they buy leads from here, and they use this CRM, and you say you don't pay, you just get it from agents. What do I do? You need to pick one mentor, one voice. You need to pick who's going to be your daddy, and go that route. Find
Yeah.
out if who you want to be like, how their day is. Because for me, bro, I work like 3 hours a day. When I was doing direct to seller, I was working 9, 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's a big difference. I'm managing 3, 4, 5 sales guys, listening to their calls, boom, boom, boom. You're working. I ain't working hard. I ain't working hard right now, bro. My whole team works part-time. And we don't, if I used to spend an hour a day, but I started comping the houses. I like that. I could
Mhm.
go do these podcasts. I can spend time with my kids. I'm gonna make less money, straight up. But I'm not looking for just money. I'm looking for my lifestyle. I ain't got to worry about, man, I got to drop 30K on Facebook ads and I hope it,
Yeah.
you want to talk about some anxiety, go
You want
spend 20K on Facebook ads or direct mail. Go spend on direct mail and tell me how your anxiety is.
yeah. You want the freedom to be able to do what you want when you want.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, you build it up to where your business is running itself because your team's taking care of things. You come in a few hours a day or a week and it's flowing. You get to do what you want.
Yeah, even if it's like, if you want to set your business up, I used to do this. I would make about, to be real with you, I make between 150 and 200K take home, spending working a 4 hour work week. I had that set up,
Mhm.
and I would tell people about it, and they'd be like my coaches and stuff, they'd be like, "What?" Well, yeah, well, I would dispo the deals. That's the
Yeah,
one thing
yeah.
I would do. I would just sell the deals and
Mhm.
manage the team. But acquisitions, run in, boom. That's how I like to run it. Now, I still ain't doing a whole lot. And it's funny. What's funny is the less harder I work, the more money I make. Because I just hire people, and
That's
they
how it
and
works.
they do it. I give them a piece of the profit for my time, and I like it like that. Some people are like, no, dude, I need to put in 10 hours or whatever because I want to grind. I want to feel good. I ran my business. I ain't like that. I don't
I
have,
know.
as long as somebody is doing it. You know what I'm saying? Those people who are workaholics and busy and
Yeah.
all that, that ain't your boy.
No.
Are you like that at all, or how do you like to run
No. I think for me, I feel the same way as you. I want to work the least possible and make the most possible. So at the end of the day, that's the point. Like you said, delegate, right? You hire on people, delegate, let them take care of that. You only take care of the most important things, and eventually you could get to the point where you don't even have to be there at all, right? Because you might hire somebody to run that side of things. But yeah, for me the same way. I'm not looking to be here in the office 10, 20, 30, not even 30 hours a week, you know. But like you said, there's people that are doing 10 plus hours a day, and they're prideful about it. It's like, dude, you can be prideful all you want. I'm trying to be here at least as possible. Like, I don't even want to be here right now. I'm
So
kidding,
that
bro.
so that being said, what would your perfect day look like? Like where do you want you're happy. You've achieved the goal of what you wanted to do for your life and your business. What's that business and day look like for you?
So for me right now, truthfully, it goes back to you ever read that book? What is it? A 4 Hour Work Week?
One of my favorite books, bro.
Yeah,
Tim
right.
Ferriss, baby.
So that's the point. Like for me, is like, dude, I rather just come in, check up on stuff, be like, okay, everything's cool, cool, and I'm gone. Like I really don't want to be involved in the daily, like in the day to day. Like that's not my goal. Like you said, like you mentioned, my goal is to like build it to run itself and spend as much time as possible with the family traveling because my goal is always to travel. And every time I go travel, I
Mm.
take my kids every time, and so it's just I like to disconnect all the time because when you're
Mm.
here just in the office working all the time, dude, you're just like your mind's all over the place.
Mm.
So for me, yeah, like it's the least possible. If I could do like going back to that 4 hour work week, I'm cool with that. 4 hours,
Yeah.
why not? I mean, at the
Eh,
moment, like I said, because I was restructuring, yeah, I'm here more and working on building it up. But now that I'm going down that route that I mentioned, like your model, that it's working out so much better.
And to back it up so people understand, when I first started, I'm 12, 14 hours a day
Yeah, yeah, same here.
every month. And then once you start making money, you got the authority or the money to start taking stuff off your plate. You get the virtual assistant, you hire the lead manager, and then you start working less. But you've earned that. You've built the business up to the point to where you can bring people in to specialize in something and they get compensated well. I go get, okay, I got a lead manager. Dang, I just got 4 hours back today because this person's working it. Oh, I got an acquisition dude. That took me like 4 hours a day too. So now I got 8 hours back, baby. What's cracking?
Mhm.
Like that. So it's not like let me just throw money and have this business running without me. No,
Oh
I built
yeah.
it up. I had to train them, I had to hire them, I had to teach them. I got to keep motivating them. It's like a garden. You just build the garden up. You still got to wake up every day. You got to pull the weeds out. If you don't pull the
Yeah.
weeds out, it's going to suffocate your crop and you're not going to make money. Pull the weeds out. You got to water it. You got to give it light. That's what you got to do to your team. You got to
True.
nurture them. You
You gotta
got
keep
to, you got to
watering
motivate
them.
them. If they're not
Keep watering.
performing, you got to figure out what's going on or get something else.
Yep.
Man,
Oh yeah. At the end of the day, you want to be able to do what you want when you want. Like I said.
and you know what kind of bothers me, man, is I'm struggling with this piece of it. And let me know if you maybe you don't, but like you know how we like for me, I always say half a mil and chill. What does that mean? Have the business to where I'm making half a mil and
Mhm.
I'm more like a 2 hour a day in the business, making sure everything's good, right? Making them, making 400, 500K. And I can rock like that for the rest of my life.
Mhm.
But part of me is like, bro, I just see these people who are like multi millionaires working harder than I don't know what. And they're already rich. They're already wealthy, but they are like Tom Brady. Dude, you're already Super Bowl champ millions.
Yeah.
Why are you working doing the uh, I see all these million like most of the people I see that I look up to are already mega rich, but they just keep building and building. And it makes me think like, oh, once I achieve that goal of half a million chill, what is something missing that I'm not like because you always go, oh, if I had $50 million, I'm done. I say that
Mhm.
stuff. I'll be real. But would I be done? Am I like those people who like, I'm never done? Or will I just sit there and just be like, hey man, this half mil rolled in. I'm good. I struggle with that, like why I'm in between of what I want. You know what I mean? I guess as long
Yeah,
as
I do.
lifestyle matches. Like if for me to make 10 million, I gotta sacrifice my lifestyle, I ain't doing it. Those people will sacrifice. Oh, maybe that's it. Those people totally sacrifice their families and stuff to be great, just to be great. It ain't about the money. They just want to be great, the greatest,
Mhm.
and keep going. Patrick Bet David even says, I ain't coming home for dinner 6. I want to be gone from 8 to 8. This is what kind of
Yeah.
lifestyle I want. So, wife, if you don't want this, don't marry me. But I ain't gonna be the dad that's there. I don't want that. Maybe that's what
Mhm.
it is. I want to be there.
Well, I think it also falls out to I mean every person individually, right? The way they feel. But I think sometimes too, when you get to a point like you said that the half a mil and I'm chilling, um, I know for when I've gone to there too, like say where I've gotten to a goal and I'm like, okay, I know I feel like I'll be good at that, but once I get to that goal, I'm like, I start thinking, I'm like, no, but I want more, right? And not really to really just to sacrifice, but I was like, I know I'm meant for more. I know I can make more. I know I can
I
do more.
oh, you say you're meant for more?
Yeah, that's what I mean,
Ooh,
at
I
least on
like
my
that.
end. Because my end, I feel like, okay, I know I'm meant for, say, for example, for me, I look at half a mil. And like I said, I've made half a mil before, right? Like I said, but when I've gone to half a mil, I was like, oh, cool, that's awesome. But I know I'm meant for more. I can make more. I know I'm meant for more.
Oh,
Not
so
really
deep down
just
inside, you know you're not hitting your potential. You don't feel right about
exactly.
it. You got to keep going.
Exactly the potential because I feel like deep down I know in my mind
Mm,
and I don't know I feel
so
like in my
good.
soul that I'm meant to be a millionaire like no matter what. So now I gotta catch up to my my future self if that makes sense. Because we are I don't know if you ever heard this concept where our future self it's already there because if you're thinking it and you're believing it you're feeling it
Yeah.
your future
Yeah.
self's already there. It's just you catching up to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like when you get aligned with your future self, pretty much so your future self throws a line like, dude, this way. Like this ain't
Right.
this way, like no, this way, bro. Then that's how I feel. Like I feel like no, I've gotten to that point where I'm like, okay, I mean, maybe if I make like 253, I'm cool, a year. But then I think about it, I'm like, no, like I know I'm meant to be a millionaire, like no matter
Yeah.
what. So that's for me at least. I don't know about them because I feel some people also hide behind that, right? Because I feel like they get to a point, but they don't want to face their selves or their fears or even their family because they got so much trauma or whatever it is. I don't know. They're hiding from
Mm.
something. Some of them, I can't say for everybody.
Oh, good, man.
Some are just chasing no matter what. Like some are just chasing the money no matter what.
I did a podcast with a dude where he's like, he's with Brandon Turner and he's in
Okay.
his mastermind.
Yeah.
And Brandon's like, what do you want? He's like, I want 1,000 doors. That's what I want. He's like, why do you want 1,000 doors?
Hmm.
And he started to think about it. Why do you want it? Do you want it because of vanity? Do you want it because you want to solidify it? Why? And the dude, it made him shift. Like, I don't need 1,000 doors. Why don't you just get 100 doors paid off? You're going to have so much money coming in, it's going to be crazy, and you have the life. So it makes me think about purpose. Like, this is when I go back to purpose. For
Yeah.
me, it's God. What does God want me to do?
Hmm.
If if it if it's in my heart, which I think it is, child trafficking. I got a real big problem with
Oh,
child trafficking,
same
dog.
here, bro.
I can't get it
We're
out of my
here.
head.
Hmm.
I want to go down there and pop some dudes. To be honest with you, I want to go down there and start slicing some throats and making it. But I ain't gonna do that, right? Like,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
what if I'm supposed to make? I want 500,000 chill. Well,
Hmm.
and I give 10%. Let's say I give 10% of
Oh.
that to child trafficking. Okay, cool. There's still more kids that need to that 500 that 500K is 50K. But God wanted you to do more than that. There's more kids that need you, bro.
Yeah.
We need you to get to 10 million so you
Yeah.
can give 1 million and save
Yeah.
more kids. Purpose. What's your purpose?
Yeah.
That's where it comes down. Yeah.
I'm on the same boat as you do, like, because I feel the same way about that. I remember when I used to go to those events with Danny Morel, he used to have. You ever heard of Operation Underground Railroad?
Yeah, I have.
Is with Tim Ballard. That's who the movie was based on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
On the
yeah.
video.
Oh, what a brutal movie to watch, bro. But everyone should watch it, but it's so brutal.
Oh
Oh.
yeah. So for me, so he would have them, the reps from Operation Underground Railroad, come to his events, and because he would always donate to them every year, but he would bring them on. So whoever wanted to donate, I started donating to them. So yeah, I would when they would come up, I would donate to them every now and then. I would either send $1,000 here, $2,000 there, or a few $100, whatever at the moment, whatever I was able to. But yeah, that's always been something strong, for me too. Like it's something about the trafficking and the kids, especially. I mean, adults too, but the kids in general. And I think it kind of brings me back to when I was a kid. I almost got kidnapped when I was a kid. Yeah, I can't remember how old I was. I was maybe 6, 7 years old. Could have been a little bit younger. But I remember I was at the park and some dude with me and my brother were at the in the playground, and some dude he seemed like a homeless person, but he was in the playground and he was trying to talk to us. And as a kid, I was just like, I'm not gonna say I was slow, but a kid, you don't really think. So the guy was getting closer and closer, and I forgot what he was saying, and then he tried to grab me, and then my brother pulled me away. And he like smacked me like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? But we were kids, right? We were little. So I don't know. For some reason, I always think about that time. That I was like, damn, I could have gotten snatched back then. Is like that's something deep in my heart too. I would say I'll fight against. Like I really do it, and I feel the same way as you when I think about that. Like when I see those type of things, whether it's in a movie or it happens in real life every day. Unfortunately, it really I really get frustrated and angry too. Like I think about the things that I would do
Mm.
because I wasn't in the military, but I always wanted to be, right? But since I was going in and out of jail, I wasn't able to go. I was looking to go to the Marines, but and I have
Let's go.
yeah, I have two uncles. I have two uncles that are Marines and an uncle in the
Yeah.
Navy. But yeah, at that time, I didn't graduate from high school. I didn't get my diploma at that point, so I wasn't able to go. But I was in and out of jail, and I was running the streets, so it's the same type of mentality, So I was like, my mentality was like, oh yeah, I would snatch these bastards up. But I get you. I really do. That's something that, yeah, that's deep down in my heart too. That I'm always that's big on my end too.
Yeah. What's your purpose? Your purpose is to take care of your family. Hopefully, for me, it's for generations. But what about outside your family?
Yeah.
Because if you
For
just
me,
think about them, you know,
for me, it's been big the youth in general, because I feel like I was troubled youth, and I've seen a lot of troubled youth. I've been in and out of juvenile halls. I feel like I gotta say one of my purposes is to help the youth, to help inspire them, show them that there's a different way. Obviously, a lot of them don't know, don't understand that about God, really. They don't understand it. But if I can show them a better way, not just business wise, but spiritually and everything, get them closer to God, I feel like that's one of my purposes too, to help them see, like, even go to juvenile halls or whatever it is, like, hey, dude, like, I was here. Like, I can show you how you can, do better. So
yep,
that's always been one of my things.
the people we're most qualified to help is who we used to be and we overcame. Man, wow. Well, this was good, man. Thanks for coming
Thanks.
on the podcast.
Thanks for having me,
Victor's
man. Thanks for having me.
definitely an unstoppable entrepreneur. How can people find you again?
You can find me on Instagram at realvic_Vasquez. So, and same, all platforms really, all social media platforms.
Awesome, bro. Well, thank you for doing this. And man,
Thank you, man. Thanks for
I'll be
having me.
seeing you in the group.
All right, brother. Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.